This is Ryan Elliott for ID Boxing. Delighted to be joined by promoter Frank Warren. Frank, we just had the Joyce-Parker press conference. It was, and it wasn't, and it is. Just shows if everyone wants it, these fights can be made.
It is, and we made the fight, and it shows that real competitive fights can be made because it's a very competitive fight. You know, one guy ranked, number one, the other number two in the WBO, and from Joe's perspective, you know, he doesn't have to do this fight, but it tells you what the man's all about. He's willing to risk that number one spot. You know, on the 24th, and you've got to take your hat off to him for that. He's a fighting man.
I know you said in the press conference you don't want to dwell too much on what's been before and the ups and downs that they're making this fight, but now it's here, that huge incentive you mentioned, the fact that the winner of this looks an absolute shoe-in for a world title shot as well.
Absolutely, you know, it'd be the mandatory. I believe it'd be the mandatory, and if he's the mandatory, he's got a pot of gold there. So there's a lot for these two guys, a lot of stake for these two guys, and it's a great opportunity for Joyce-Parker.
We know what Joe Joyce is all about, energetic, very fit. Joe Parker's shown a more clinical side of Andy Lee as well, very spiteful. Are you expecting this to gel into a very fan-friendly fight?
I think the styles will make it a great fight for the fans. I really do. I really do feel that'll be the case.
A word on Beterbiev-Yarde. We know you've had the venue held, and we've been looking at October for that. Any more to tell us? A smile on your face, Frank.
Look, the contracts are nearly done, and we're just waiting for them to, the two lawyers to sort it out. But all the terms are agreed. It's just some small things to be sorted out, and that's what we're doing at the moment.
A word on Tyson Fury. He's recently said that if he's going to come back and fight, he wants it to be Joshua for free. Is that just Tyson being Tyson?
You better ask him again on that one. I don't know about that. Look, let them two guys get their fighting on the 20th, and let's see what happens. And then Tyson's got to make a decision as to whether he wants to come back and unify the titles or not. And if he doesn't, you've got, I think the next one is the WBO title, and the winner of this fight on the 24th will get the shot.
Final one on Tyson. There's been a little bit of pace gathered for the fact of a Chisora trilogy. There's people been saying that they've been talking to each other. Have you heard any more than me about that?
I haven't had any conversations with Derek Chisora about a fight.
Okay, just to move on, you mentioned August 20th, Usyk-Joshua 2. I wanted to get your thoughts on the broadcaster situation that we've seen. Joshua signed to DAZN, Sky Sports pick up the rights to the fight. What have you made of it all?
Well, I always felt that the Saudi Arabians have put a lot of money up for this fight, a lot of money. And obviously they want to get returns, and they're looking for exposure, and they know they're going to get far more exposure on a Sky or a BT than they would get on DAZN. So that's the reason it's on there. I mean, that's what they paid for.
Last one, Jake Paul. Obviously the Tommy Fury fight didn't go ahead. He now doesn't have a fight at all. Do you think it could be third time lucky? Do you think we will see Jake Paul and Tommy Fury?
I feel sorry for Jake. You know, the latest fight's pulled out as well. I mean, it wasn't Tommy's fault he couldn't fight. Hopefully we can resurrect it and get it on. It's a fight that everybody wanted to see. I certainly wanted. I'd sort of talked myself into seeing. I wanted to see it, and I know that Tommy wanted it. So fingers crossed we can get it on.
All right, Frank, thank you very much for speaking at ID Boxing. We'll catch you soon.